Upper body warm-up. So this would be a warm-up that you would do if you were going to go to the gym and you were going to do like mostly an upper body workout. And we're going to, as opposed to the lower body that I have a video on, where we work from the feet up to the glutes, we're going to work the upper body and then we're going to work down to the low back. So I have here a foam roller and I have a single therapy ball and I have a double peanut ball or a dual ball. I'm going to use all three, but you would be able to get away with a foam roller just fine. So we're going to start with our thoracic spine. We're going to come down onto the mat. So a lot of people get to the gym and they don't really know what to do. What we're doing is with their roller, what we're doing is we're trying to warm up the muscles and prepare them for the coming workout. So my hips are down. My roller is at about mid upper back. Oh, I already got a crack. Okay, so my hips are down, my hands are behind my head. I'm resting my head in my hands, and I'm just doing it for a nice back extension. So I'm arching back and coming up. So you're going to hit each part that we go on for like maybe 8 or 10 passes. You don't need to be on any area for more than 1 minute at a time. Our goal is to warm up the muscles, decrease muscle density in order to increase performance. I'm going to lift my hips and I'm going to move the roller up a little more. So you want to start about mid upper back, do some extensions, and then lift your hips and keep going until you get up to that upper back. We're going to avoid the neck. We're not going to warm up the neck with this particular workout. Then we're exercise warm up. So we're going to lift the hips and lower the hips and begin to roll the the shoulders. So the deal with rolling is you want to go nice and slow to give the body a chance to respond. We don't want the muscles to tense up. We want them to warm up. So we want to stay out of any extreme amounts of pain. So you want to breathe through the whole thing and make sure that you're not rolling in areas that is so tight and so painful that you're making that scary face. And we don't want the fascia to increase, the bundles of fascia there. I don't want the muscles to tense up. So we're working the upper back. Good. And then we're going to roll over and we're going to get a whole bunch of areas here. So I'm lying on my side. I'm resting my head in my hands. My knees are bent. I'm going to take this elbow that's bent and pull it back so it's in line with my shoulders. I have the roller just in from my armpit, and I'm going to roll forward. I can hit my pec in the front, and then I can roll back and get the lat in the back. So you're just going to roll forward. Like I said, you can do 8 or 10 passes. This is getting you ready to continue on in the gym with your upper body workout. So we don't want to be here all day. We're just thinking about warming everything up. So I'm going to roll back and forward. You can really move way forward, bring your face all the way down towards the mat and get the front of the pec here. We're going to get the pec in a different direction, but this definitely feels good. The other thing you can do is scoot more to the front of your roller and then roll onto your back and get the whole back of your shoulder. So we're getting the underside of the back side of the shoulder, we're getting the underside of the shoulder, and we're getting the front part of the chest. You can move this roller further towards your elbow and keep rocking back and forth. You want to change direction of what you're doing with your roller and your balls. You don't want to just roll. You keep moving that. Eventually you're going to come to your tricep. And you can release that arm out and you can begin to roll the tricep. You may as well roll the tricep while we're here. So my palm is facing up and I'm pressing with my hand, and I'm also going to rock from side to side. I'm going to span from side to side. You want to change direction because we're not only rolling and compressing muscles, we're rolling and compressing the fascia. Fascia runs in all different directions, just like a spider web. So we want to get in there and work out anything that's trapped, any issues, any toxins, and we want to increase blood flow in there. So pre-workout is a warm-up. Post-rolling would be for recovery. Okay, so we've gotten this part. We're going to move to the front of the chest. So I'm going to take my roller, I'm going to come onto my belly, and I'm going to hug my roller into my side body, just like this, so it's long right by my body. And it's up enough. My arm is out like an extension of my shoulder, and I'm internally rotating the shoulder by bringing my palm to face back, not forward but back, and I'm pressing the front of my shoulder down on the roller, and I'm just going to roll from side to side. I'm getting my bicep, and I'm going to do a real slow push, and I'm coming all the way into the front of my front of my shoulder. You can sweep your arm forward and back. Remember, we're going to move nice and slow so that the muscles have time to get the blood flow in there and the muscle has time to relax and actually react. Feels really good. You can lift and lower your elbow and your arm. And remember to keep internally rotating the shoulder, and there's a little bit of pressure there. You can press the roller out further and get more towards the bicep and do the same thing. Do palm up, palm down, palm forward, palm back, and see what you can find and warm up that bicep. Good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the top of the shoulder, and I'm going to do that with a ball. So you can use a tennis ball, you can use a lacrosse ball, you can use 1/2 of your peanut ball. But for this, I'm just going to lay down, I'm going to bend my knees, I'm going to take this ball, and I'm going to put it about halfway between my neck and my shoulder. Not down so far that it's disappeared behind my shoulder blade. Okay, and I'm going to lay down. So I'm trapping the ball by pushing with my feet. And I can still feel it. It's right up here. It's like a little half moon or a little crescent moon right here on the top of my shoulder. I'm going to bring my head down, bring my arms down along my body, and I'm pressing with my feet. And this compression feels really good. So we're getting at the upper trapezius here. I'm just going to slowly begin to lift and lower my hips. And as I lift my hips, it's increasing pressure on that ball. So you're going to do 10 or 12 lifts and lowers here. Then my hips are going to stay down, and I'm going to bring my arm up, the palm faces up, back of the hand towards the floor behind me. I'm just going to take a couple passes here. There's a lot more pressure on the ball here. And I can wiggle it in, I can wiggle it down. You'll know when you find the sweet spot. You'll know when you're there. Again, we're moving slowly so that our body responds in a positive way and not in a negative way. Then bring your arms down along your body, and you're going to do both. You're going to lift your hips and lift your arm at the same time. You're probably going to have more of a decreased range of motion. It really gets in there. I'm going to wiggle the ball a couple different locations back there, and I'm going to do a couple more lift and lowers with my hips and with my arms. So that gives us the top of the shoulder. Like I said, you could do the same thing. And you could, if you brought your peanut ball to the gym, you could stick your 1/2 of your peanut ball up there. Okay, so now we're going to work on our triceps. So I'm going to come down into a 4-point kneeling position, and I'm just going to bring my arm down onto the roller, and I'm going to rock my arm from side to side and span along that tricep. I can bring my hand to my shoulder, and I want to work the whole part of the back of the upper arm. And rock from side to side. Good. So it's good. Upper body's pretty warm. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to work the low back with the peanut ball. You can definitely do low back work on the foam roller, but first I'm going to start with the peanut ball. And I'm going to start down pretty low, but I'm going to start above the SI joint. The SI joint's those 2 little dimples in your low back. You want to be above that. So I'm going to lie down, bend my knees, pick up my hips, and bring the ball so it's on either side of my vertebra. So it's side to side, not up and down. And I'm just going to first start low on the mat. And I have an arch in my spine, and then I'm going to tuck my tailbone and lift my hips. So I'm just kind of lifting and lowering my hips. And the dual ball is massaging on either side of my spine and my low back. I'm going to lift my hips, and I'm going to bring the ball up. You want to think about bringing it up one vertebra at a time. And then I'm going to lift and lower. So I'm not feeling so much here, so I'm going to just drop my hips down to the floor, and I'm going to gently rock my knees from side to side. Both knees to the right, and both knees to the left. My belly is engaged, my upper body is relaxed, and I'm going to work that ball up a little bit higher. So you can do a number of things. You can make circles with your hips. My hips are kind of, my glutes are down on the mat, and then I'm lifting and circling in one direction. I can keep them up. I can wave my knees in and out. I can wave my knees from side to side with hips lifted or hips down. You'll know. It feels really good. If you have one ball, you work one side of your spine at a time. You take the ball and you put it in that little spot, and then you can just work the knees over and work your way up the spine. So the way you know you've gone up high enough is you really don't want that roller or the dual ball or the single ball to be on your rib cage. And you also don't want it to be up so high that it starts to affect your ability to take in a deep breath, because we're breathing through all of this, right? So remember, no scary faces. You're going to go nice and slow. And we're on our warm-up. We're just trying to warm up the muscles. We're not looking for trigger points. We're not looking for really sticky spots. If you finished your workout and you go through the whole list of things to do that you just did in your pre-warm-up for your upper body, then you can go muscle by muscle, and you can look for the areas that need the most attention. So I'm scooting the ball up a little bit higher, and I can still breathe, and I'm lifting and lowering my hips, and I'm just doing whatever organic movements feel good. I've kind of avoided my rib cage, and it's getting up there to my mid-thoracic, which is right about the area that we started, which was the middle part of the lower part of the upper back, where we were bending and extending over the roller. If you find a spot that feels really great, just rest your hips down and relax your rib cage, and just take some nice deep breaths, and your diaphragm will expand and contract, and you'll get a real nice massage from the inside. When you're ready and you're finished, you lift your hips and bring your ball or your roller out from underneath the low back. You can do the same thing with the roller. You would do the exact same thing. Start low and work your way up, and just work your knees from side to side. Then you lift your hips, bring your roller out from underneath, and roll over to one side first. Draw the belly button into the spine, and gently press yourself up to a seated position, and you're ready for your upper body workout in the gym. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great workout. Check out my other videos.